Hey PC World fans, in front of me I have the entire Falcon Northwest desktop lineup. First up we have the Falcon Northwest Tiki. Over here we have the Falcon Northwest FragBox. And last, but certainly not least, is the Falcon Northwest Talon. Now over the years we've seen each one of these different models in various configurations, but usually we're looking at them separately. This is the first time that I'm seeing them all in one place together in their newest, latest, greatest configurations. And I don't think anyone's ever done that, actually looked at them all together. So that's the goal of this video, is to kind of look at each one of these, kind of go over the hardware that's inside of them, the design elements that make each one of them unique, but then also kind of touch generally about Falcon Northwest and what makes them unique in the high-end custom pre-built desktop space. So this is going to be a fun one. Let's dive in. So before we get started, I do want to mention that this video is sponsored by Falcon Northwest, and because of that, I'm not actually going to be reviewing any of these systems. So it's not really about the benchmarks and the speeds and feeds of the performance of any of the systems. This is really more like a hands-on overview of what they have to offer, and hopefully you can just sit back and enjoy some beautifully built, custom-built PCs. So to kick off this hardware tour, we're going to start off on the smaller end of the scale. This is the Falcon Northwest Tiki. I'd consider it small form factor, but they call it a micro tower. It measures in at 13.6 inches deep this way, 13 inches tall, which does not include the stand. The stand's about almost another inch, and then 4 inches wide without the base, and with the base it's about 5 inches. So it's actually important to point out this base. This is a solid piece of aluminum. It is removable if you want to do a different configuration, but it comes with this solid piece of aluminum to help keep it upright, because even though it's tall and skinny, I don't worry about this thing falling over. It's definitely solidly built. And over the years, Falcon Northwest has gone through great lengths to test out different cooling configurations and kind of add the appropriate holes for maximum performance and cooling. So this has gone through many iterations, and that's where they're at now, but it is constantly being updated depending on the latest and greatest hardware that they put inside. And speaking of hardware they put inside, let's go ahead and open this one up. It has these nice captive thumb screws that I'm just going to twist off right here. I'm going to slide this back, and I got to be careful because this there is a fan mounted to the side, so I'm just going to lay this down, and there you go. We got the internals so nice and tidy. It's got this one is custom numbered, and it has the PC World name on it. So the actual parts in this, once again, can be configured on the website and change depending on the times, but this actual configuration comes with a Intel Core i9 13900 non-K with the Intel cooler on it. More interestingly is this Asus ProArt card that Falcon Northwest worked with them to design so that it fits smaller chassis like this one. This is the smallest, if not the smallest, RTX 4080 that I've ever seen, and it is perfect for small form factor use. It doesn't have RGB, it has more of a professional work aesthetic, but I actually still like it. It is a beautiful design. It is mounted in here and solidly constructed and thought of for shipping purposes. So even though this is kind of in a interesting configuration, this thing ain't going anywhere. I'm wiggling at it. I would not worry about this getting lost or damaged in transit. But if it does, luckily they do have a great customer support system that I will get to later. But this is the Falcon Northwest Tiki. So next up is the FragBox. Now the FragBox is a small form factor, at least traditionally small form factor at the time. It has been through many iterations. This latest generation of FragBox was redesigned from the ground up to help fit these larger components that you can put in here. And speaking of components, this one has a PNY RTX 4090 in here. So let's take off this side panel. You do have two slim 120mm fans with a nice little dust guard that you can actually take that out. So you can see that PNY card in there. Let's go ahead and take out this fan shroud so we can see that 4090 in there. There we go. There's that 4090. That is That is a thick 4090, and the fact that Falcon Northwest has been able to place this inside of such a small chassis is pretty awesome. So let's twist it around to the other side and get a look at it from this angle. So these, once again, are captive thumb screws on all of the panels. This panel also has a nice little fine mesh that you can take out. It's magnetic, but when we get a look inside, we have a full ATX motherboard. The processor in this one specifically is the AMD Ryzen 9 7950X3D. They have their custom water block on it, feeding a 280 millimeter AIO. This also features an SFXL power supply up to 1,000 watts. But let's get one more look at the internals, this time from the top panel, which also doubles as a handle. So let's go ahead and screw this off, slide it back, and there we go. We get the full shot of the 280 millimeter rad. On this side is that 4080, which, I don't know, that looks to be about 4 slots to me. That is a thick 4080. But yeah, that's a lot of power packed in a small space. Now I get it, not everybody is into their small chassis, so for everybody else, we have the Falcon Northwest Talon. This is a full-size tower that allows for the most componentry that you can get in here. Once again, you go over to the website and kind of look at the configurations itself. In this specific Talon, we have an Intel Core i9 13900KS with an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4090 Founders card. Yes, this is a traditional tower layout with a full ATX motherboard, full ATX power supply that looks like a 280 millimeter rad on the CPU with that same custom water block, 4 sticks of RAM, a beautiful custom cabling. This is definitely a sight to behold, but it's not just about looks. They do a ton of testing to make sure that you're getting the most performance out of this system. So yes, it looks beautiful, but on the other end, you got to make sure that it performs well, and Falcon Northwest has done their homework, and they custom configure it to make sure that it's going to work as intended. This even supports up to large eATX motherboards and the Xeon and Threadripper Pro systems. So once again, go check out the configuration options. It's kind of fun to play around with that tool and see what you can come up with. Let's go ahead and check out the other side to see that nice custom wiring job. And look at that. So it's kind of just a high-level overview of all 3 of Falcon Northwest desktop systems, but they do share a lot in common. And one of the things I want to point out, which I've kind of touched on a little bit, is build quality. These things are built like tanks. These are custom-made designs, all of them, that get updated for the latest and greatest parts, and they are built solid. You can't buy these chassis anywhere. These are custom designs, and that is definitely something that sets them apart, because they're able to tweak the performance and the features and just kind of keep making them better over time. And because of that, they are heavy. They are solid pieces of machinery, and they do get shipped in really nice packaging. That is obviously something important. I will say, out of all the years that we've been receiving Falcon Northwest systems, I have never gotten one that's damaged. So luckily, like, they do put a lot of care into building them, but then also into shipping them, because that is important as well. When speaking of shipping, each of the systems actually comes with a separate box. Inside the box, you get a little thank you note from the owner of Falcon Northwest, Kelt. You get a little Falcon Northwest mug. We all need more mugs in our life. It's a nice little mug, and then I'm just going to lift this out. And inside, you get all the extra accessories. These are the extra power cables that came with the power supply. This box contains all of the stuff that would come with your traditional motherboard box. Extra cables, and whatnot that they included to make sure that, hey, you know what, if you want to mess with it, I mean, these are just standard parts. If you want to mess with it, if you want to customize it on your own, you can if you want to. We got adapter cables, got all the little stuff that comes with it. Oh, the Wi-Fi antenna. It also comes with a recovery drive. So the OS recovery drive here, if you need to kind of reinstall or re-image your system. The documentation for the motherboard, even the Windows install. Okay, and then of course it wouldn't be Falcon Northwest without a bag of Falcon fuel, hand forged. I've had this coffee before. It is a good coffee, and if you like Gordon and appreciate coffee, then you probably will too. Also in the box is very important documentation. In every box, Falcon Northwest sends out documentation. The first couple pages are essentially just going over the actual system configuration itself, going over the details. But if you want to come in here and look, each system is hand checked, well, hand built and then hand checked, and you get to see all the little documentation checks that happen along the way. They provide that to you. They even do formatting of the drives. You can see the drive letters here, the actual tests that they did, mem tests, Heaven, reboot loop, PC mark. So not only can you see that it is tested, you actually get to see the scores too. So if when you get the system and those scores don't match up, if you want to do the test yourself, then you know maybe something's wrong. So then once again, this is just more inspections going over each of the things, and you actually have the names of the letters of the people who actually tested it. So it's very thorough. It is handcrafted, hand loved, hand tested, and then of course and read the manual. Read the manual. Of course, this is kind of their version of the manual, going over what to do when you get the system and get it up and running. Here's about the that USB rescue drive that I showed in the box, how to use that if needed. And then on the final page is contact information, because if you have a problem, it is best to contact Falcon Northwest. They are there to help, and they really care about making sure that you have an awesome experience with your machine. So it comes with a 3-year warranty, but even more so, they have a 1-year, with every system, 1-year warranty that they call Falcon Overnight, meaning that if you have a problem with your system in the field that they can't help you fix in the field, they will pay for overnight shipping both ways, which is huge, and I personally have never seen that on any pre-built system before. And I know if I was needing one of these machines to get my job done, and it was that important to get fixed, I would love that kind of service. So I think that's a standout feature and something that definitely needs to be applauded. So one of the last things I do want to touch on is the fact that Falcon Northwest offers extensive customization options. I recommend going over to the website falcon-nw.com to check out the photos and describe more about over there, because it even goes over my head. They do actually share a lot of photos over on their Twitter. I know one of the most recent ones I saw was a Tiki that was all Starfield themed, super cool stuff. But we do have one on hand that I want to show off that I think you're going to appreciate. So I just easily slide off the door here and take this one. You might have seen this before, but it's worth showing off again. And there we go. We got a full nerd themed one that they made for us. Got Gordon's face on it, holding a even though this is an Intel system, actually that makes it even funnier. This isn't just a vinyl sticker. This is actually printed on the metal itself, and it's not coming off. So that was just a high-level overview of the desktop offerings from Falcon Northwest, and kind of going over why I think they're unique in the space. But the last thing I want to finish on is something I'm sure we'll get in the comments, like, well, why would I buy one of these systems when you can just build your own? And it's like, hey, you know what? I like building my own. I totally get you, but there are a lot of people, I've talked to plenty of them who are saying, hey, I need a high-end rig. I don't got time to watch all the YouTube videos and do all the research and buy the parts and configure them and all that kind of stuff. I want somebody who is an expert already that can kind of build it themselves. But more importantly, if I have a problem, and I need to get some serious work done, going with a company like Falcon Northwest, I know I have somebody that I can call up to help me fix if there is a problem. So I think that's super valuable, and so don't just fully dismiss it out of hand. Maybe one day you're in a situation where you will value that as well, and if you do, I think you should give Falcon Northwest a look. And thank you again to Falcon Northwest for sponsoring the channel, and thanks everybody for watching. We will catch you in the next video.